opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Monday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you are ever in the market for a new or used vehicle. Boop, there you go. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown is the place to go. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we continue that today with a great show for you guys. We'll obviously recap the whole weekend. Got a lot of basketball to talk about. We'll preview tonight, and we'll do some other fun stuff. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen on Running Point. Let's pop into the scoreboard, but you know what? Backtrack. Before we do that, I do want to thank everyone that reached out to me yesterday for a happy birthday. I feel so loved and appreciated on the birthday. You get 150 plus people on your timeline. It's overwhelming, and then obviously a lot of people to thank, and a lot of people that definitely deserve the thanking of that. And I hope I got to everybody on Facebook that reached out. I try to get to everybody. There's a lot of people that posted on the Facebook, but hopefully I got to everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. I definitely appreciate everyone that reached out, and I want to thank you for that. I am 32 for those people that are asking. Gonna have a fun year. Another year on the sun. Here we go. Every year we're kind of surprised that the Earth made it. It made it again. Here we go. Let's go into the scoreboard, which is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let me get my face out of there. There you go. Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. This is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you are at one of our broadcasts, at one of our games, watching one of our broadcasts. You don't want to look away for too long. The YSN scoreboard is a quick and easy way to get live updated scores, so you don't have to wait until midnight for the final scores to come in. We have a great team behind the scenes that makes sure that the YSN scoreboard is well up to date, and it's presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. You can find it at ysnlive.com/scores. Let's rewind the clocks back to Friday, go a little bit back in the past with our DeLorean, and see what happened on Friday night. A really good basketball game transpired in Canfield. The Cardinals of Canfield getting the slight advantage over Mooney, 58-54, the final score there. South Range, they have 2 NE8 wins under their belt, and they both have been dominating fashion as they beat Struthers in the Fieldhouse. Final score there, 71-47, Raiders on top, looking for back-to-back NE8 titles. We go to Brookfield and Champion doing some battle, and it was a pretty good basketball game. Like, both teams played well. Brookfield is the one that comes out with the win here by the final score of 60-53. We go over to JFK. Man, they came off that win against Hoban on fire. 72-43, they beat Mogador. And JFK looks pretty dang good. I'll tell you what, when we look at teams that have, a really good chance to make some noise this year. And I know Division 4 has Richmond Heights, and that's obviously going to be the team to beat, not just in our district, in our region, in the state. They're a powerhouse for sure. So I'm not going to put the cart ahead of the horse and say that JFK is a state championship favorite right now. But what I will say is, my man, oh man, are they playing extremely good basketball. They have multiple weapons that will beat you in different ways. They can play above the rim, which is always a bonus in high school because we know that not every team can. They rebound well. They play really good defense. We saw that against Hoban. Their defense was just locked down. They didn't let Hoban do much of anything that they wanted to do. Same thing with Mogador. If you watch that game, Mogador had a lot of trouble, especially in the half court, of just being able to execute their sets because there's just not much you can do against JFK's defense right now. Offense can score. They have multiple people that can score. I could call out, Nick Ryan, he's great. Michael Condolian, great. Seminaro, great. All those players are putting together really good years. And we were told before the season started by Coach K, hey, this might be the year that JFK fans have been waiting for a while. They've had some talent in the past. They've done some special things. And he's been a part of that. But when he told us, well, actually he told Ty, but we all at Ysn, we all listened and we all perked our ears when we heard this. This is the year that JFK fans have been waiting for. That opened our eyes in preseason. And now we're seeing exactly what he means as JFK is playing really good basketball right now. And I don't think there's anything really in front of JFK this regular season that they can't handle. I think the biggest enemy of JFK for the rest of the year is going to be JFK. The only teams that are going to be able to decisively beat them are themselves. And I don't see that happening the way they're playing right now. So JFK is going to be a team to watch, a team to get locked in on because they're special. They're putting together something really special this year. Another team that's really special is East Liverpool. They're still undefeated on the season, and they go and win 54-42 over Boardman, a Division I Boardman on the road. I don't think people understand what kind of a big deal this is to go on the road, pretty far on the road. I mean, East Liverpool to Boardman, that's like a 45-minute drive into a Division I Boardman that's been playing really good defense, trying to figure out an offense, but defensively very, very good. And I think they proved it here. I think East Liverpool still held below their season average. So Boardman, props for a good defense. But it's a daunting task to go into Spartyville and try to get a win against this Boardman team that's very good, very well coached. Pat Birch does a really good job down there. To go there and get a win the way they did. Preston Kerr had another really good game. He's always good for, your 15, 16, 20 points, in that range. They have a lot of guys doing the right thing, and East Liverpool, the defense was the story, though. Defense in this game, they took advantage of the fact that Boardman was still trying to figure things out. And I think Pat Birch said it in his post-game, presser. We're still trying to find things out offensively. We're still trying to find the identity, find out what we're good at. He's not alone. There's plenty of basketball teams that are doing the same thing. But Boardman's one of those teams that bad timing to play a really good defense in East Liverpool. And the Potters, really impressive so far to start the season. That was another coach that we had on Running Point that came to us and said, hey, we could be putting together something really special this year. You don't want to miss it. We're not missing it at all. Let's go from there into the EOAC where Southern, this one was canceled. Remember, Southern was canceled on Thursday for the girls, canceled on Friday for the boys. I think there's an illness that was going around in the school that they had to close down the game. So that game will be rescheduled, of course, because it is an EOAC game. They have to play it. So we'll move on to the EOAC in Columbiana versus Valley Christian. And Columbiana, close win, 54-51. That's a good bounce back from a close loss a couple of games ago. So Columbiana, like we said before, because they lost a close one to Lisbon, that's a game where they can't afford to lose anymore. So this is a Valley Christian team that is very close to Columbiana as far as talent and effort goes. They're right there. They're neck and neck. And these are the games that Columbiana is going to have to win for the rest of the season because they can't afford a loss. They have to go into that second matchup with Lisbon and be ready to split the league with that game, because the way Lisbon's playing, I don't know if anyone else in the EOAC can beat them right now. Lisbon's playing really, really well inside the conference. So when you look at that, and obviously Columbiana gave them a big test, played really good defense, just lost to them by 2 points. You got to think that right now, the way it's shaping up, it's Columbiana and Lisbon right now, tops of the EOAC. Valley Christian, a team that has already played Lisbon, already took care of them once, so you don't have to worry about that the first time through the schedule. So by the time Columbiana and Lisbon play each other again, the other team that I think can throw a real monkey wrench into it, in Valley, Lisbon's already played. So you're looking at that second matchup between Columbiana and Lisbon. It has a really big chance to be, undefeated in the league, Lisbon versus one-loss Columbiana. I know United's in there, and United can definitely do some things. I don't want to take away United's ability and their ability to go and play really good basketball. But right now, the way it's shaping up, very early in the season, it just looks like it's going to, be a race between Columbia and Lisbon, with a couple of teams there that can throw monkey wrenches into it. They both have to play Valley Christian again, and Valley Christian proved in both games that they're capable of beating those teams. But with both teams getting that first win over Valley, it feels like now it's a horse race between those two. They definitely are in the driver's seat for that situation to happen, and everyone else is going to be chasing Lisbon and Columbiana for the rest of the year inside that EOAC. Newton Falls and Camel getting together. These are two of the three reigning champions in the MVAC last year, and Camel gets the win. This is a big one because remember last year, these three, Newton Falls, Camel, and LeBray, kind of split with each other a little bit. They kind of helped each other out, and they all ended with the same record inside the league, and they all shared. So I think we all had this Camel Newton Falls. We all have Newton Falls LeBray tomorrow, and then LeBray Camel. All those games were circled a couple of times on the calendar before the season even started. So a big win for Camel here. First time against Newton Falls. Pretty defensive matchup, and Newton Falls is known for being a very defensive, physical basketball team. So one of the things I liked about Camel in this game was, when you're going up against a physical team, that tests your mental strength, your mental ability to stay in it, stay focused, not get, frustrated and start to make mistakes because of the physicality of the game. And I think Coach Cantanero, he said earlier in the season, like we were struggling with mental strength right now. There was a couple games where they just didn't finish down the stretch. They weren't mentally strong enough to get the wins, and he wanted to see improvement in that. And I think this is a big game where they see a lot of mental strength to get this win over Newton Falls, which is a team that will frustrate you. They're physical. They're going to push you around. If they get a referee crew that lets some stuff go, they're going to take advantage of it. And this was a very physical basketball game. You watched it on film, it was physical, it was defensive, and Camel didn't panic. They didn't fall into those traps that those teams can put you in. So I was really impressed with their mental fortitude to go in and get the win over Newton Falls. David Moore with a great game for Camel. He's starting to put together a really good season. Watch out for him. Howland and Lakeview getting together. The backyard rivalry is also all Tigers this time around. 66-41. Howland gets the win. Lowville beats East Liverpool by 3, 32-29. This was a game where two halves, right? The first half, Lowville and Waterloo, their offense were kind of trading blows every now and then. They scored more points combined in the second quarter than they scored combined in the entire second half. So these defenses made good halftime adjustments, really good halftime adjustments. And the offenses couldn't do much of anything in the second half. They had 24 combined points in the second quarter, and they had 23 combined points in the second half alone. So that tells you what adjustments were made in that locker room. Both defenses were really, really good. This is a big win for Lowville to pull it out. Close wins are always strong, especially inside the league. So Lowville escapes, and they grab the victory, and they'll be moving on. Crestview goes to Liberty on the boys' side, and they get the win in overtime, 66-64. second overtime game Crestview has played already. They have had a flair for the dramatic so far this season. Another team with a flair for the dramatic so far this year has been Badger, and they get the right side of this close game over Pymatuning Valley, 71-69. The final score there. Badger gets the victory. Duncan Moy, another impressive performance from him. That's no shocker. It is what it is. It's like, hey, you get what are the guarantees in life? Death, taxes, and Duncan Moy scoring 30 points. There you go. Latonia and Lisbon battling in the EOAC, and the Blue Devils get back to their offensive ways. They had a couple of games where they were held below their average, still got their wins, but back in the 70s for Lisbon as they win 72-37 over Latonia. Springfield gets the victory. Dylan Shealy puts together a great game for them, and they win over Western Reserve 48-34 inside the conference. LeBray takes care of Garfield 72-53. Final score there. Vikings look very good. I think what I like about LeBray, and I was able to see them live earlier in the season, I love teams that have two guards that do things in different ways. You know, they have obviously Austin Rowe, who is just your spot up, absolute deadly shooter. And then they go and they have, Miller, who can just cut. He's a slasher. He's the guy that's going to get into the paint, drive, finish through contact. Dealing with a little bit of post depth right now. I know in that champion game I had them, they were without their post or putting some post in from the bench. They're getting through that with really good guard play, and I like what I see from LeBray. I love guards that are able to do things in different ways, and LeBray has that, and that's why they're so good. Plus, Coach Kaiser, he's a legend, so he's always going to outcoach more people than not. Jackson Milton gets a big win over Sebring at home, 79-40, the final score there. Blue Jays on top. We had Hubbard get the win over Niles, 58-36, the final score. Big win for Hubbard inside the NE8. Ursuline dominates East downtown rivalry, 82-57, the final score there. West Branch gets the best of Marlington, 55-35, the final score there. United in Wellsville doing some battle, and it is Wellsville that gets the win, 61-57. Gerard, they fall to Poland, 39-23. Edison falls to Bridgeport, 56-49, and Middle Ridge falls to McDonald, 61-53. Oh, we got some girls basketball on Friday as well. Grand Valley beats Cardinal 53-26. Harvey beats Lakeside barely 43-41. Orange is able to get the loss over Richmond Heights 63-30, the final score there. Other game on Friday, by the way, that was a big one inside the CVC for Edgewood girls, going to Perry, who was the reigning conference champions for a couple of years in a row. They go to Perry. They win in double overtime, 56-50, to stay undefeated. So Edgewood with a big win on the road inside the conference against a very good Perry Pirate team. And that was also an important win for the Warriors on Friday. We'll go to Saturday, pop up the scoreboard from Saturday. Let's look at the girls basketball games and boys games that happened over the weekend. We go to Lisbon. They get the win 57-50 over Heartland Christian. Badger gets the win 47-39 over Girard. Columbiana, big one over Poland, 40-38, as they keep the Bulldogs down. And what I think was a good job for Columbiana is Mary Brandt got her numbers. And what did I say about Poland? If they don't have the supplementary scores, they're going to be in trouble. And they didn't. They didn't get enough from their other guards. So Sophie Generalovic had a good game in double figures, but they need a lot from Eliana Thompson. They need a lot from Avery Yakubovic. They need a lot from those style of players to win, because they're a team that likes to shoot. They like guard play. They score with guards more than not. And when they don't get it, they're going to be in a dogfight, pun intended. And they were in Columbiana and the Clippers. That's a big win. I know it's Division 3. I get that. Like it's not one that division wise you're gonna say they played up, and it won't get the RPI points per se. But there is a difference between Columbiana Division 3 and Poland Division 3, right? Poland's a very big Division 3 school, probably top tier when you talk about size of Division 3, just moving down a couple of years ago. But Columbiana is one of the smaller Division 3 schools. So you're not playing up division wise, but you're definitely still playing up in size. You're definitely still playing up in size. Strength of schedule is edged towards Poland a lot. They're still playing Division 2 and Division 1 teams. So this was a big statement win for Columbiana to say, hey, we might be smaller. We might play smaller teams in the league, but we are still in this class that deserves to be in this conversation with the Polands of Division 3. Big win for the Clippers. First time the Polands ever gone to Columbiana, and they were not fun hosts. Columbiana not polite. They get the win 40-38. Western Reserve also was playing host on Saturday as they beat Southeast. Final score 45-37 there. We have Crestview. Another dominating game against Minerva. 68-24, the final score there. Hoban comes to Austintown Fitch. Stay undefeated. They get the win over the Falcons. Final score there, 64-36. Canfield gets the win over Salem. This is a game that was close to start, but a good fourth quarter where Canfield outscored Salem 14-4 to win 51-34. The final score there in that one. Lakeview got the win over Maplewood, 44-36. The final score there. Big win for the Bulldogs. We have Howland getting the win over Chardon in dominating fashion, 76-42. The final score there. Boardman smashes Marlington, 54-22. Final score there. West Branch defensive battle again, 41-28. That West Branch defense is just something else. They have not let teams even sniff 40 points yet this year. They are averaging giving up under 30 per game, and doing it against Louisville, that's tough. Louisville has a couple of really, really good players on offense. You know, Brooke Heron, obviously we know about her. We know what she's all about. Courtney Barwick's an excellent shooter. Then you have, why is her name slipping me? Tanner McCauley, who is just a little bit of both. Can drive, can shoot. More of a pop-up jump shooter off the dribble. Brooke Heron's more of the girl that can finish inside off the drive. She can shoot too, for sure. And then Courtney Barwick's more of there. You get her in the corner, 3-point spot-up shooter. They're a hard offense to defend because they can come at you from different ways. And West Branch, I mean, I'm talking about Carter Shepard did an amazing job starting and then coming off the bench for Ellie Tucker. They were both the player of the game because of their defense. You know, they weren't among the top scorers of the day, but their defense was just, you could see it clear as day how good defense they played, especially Ellie Tucker, freshman off the bench. Hey, you know what? You're going to come into the game off the bench, and your job is just to guard Courtney Barwick, who is averaging 20 points per game. That's your job. You're undersized. She's going to have a size advantage on you, and we just want you to stick with her. And she did that all day. Just stuck with her, never gave her any room. Great defense, didn't foul. Was really impressed with Ellie Tucker. Couldn't say it enough. Gave her player of the game, gave her the post-game interview. Absolutely earned it. Didn't score a point in the game. And a lot of people would say, well, that's a bad game. You know, she didn't score. Why can't? But no, defensively, Ellie Tucker is an asset. And, as a freshman saying, hey, you're going to go guard Courtney Barwick. That's like giving a rookie the hey, you're going to go guard Tyreek Hill one-on-one. Good luck. And then having the rookie do it. Really impressive. Really impressive. And once again, West Branch's defense does its job. Offense does enough. You know, they score and when they have to. Chloe Dennison had another good game. Audrey Eaton, Livy Showalter. Sophie Gregory is okay with not having the stats. You know, she's passing the ball off. She can score, but teams are focusing in on her and saying, we're going to stop Sophie Gregory. And not once have I seen Gregory just get frustrated or, you know, try to force stuff. And she's just with the attitude like, okay, my teammates can score. And boy, can they. I mean, Audrey Eaton is a good shooter. So is Chloe Dennison. Yeah, Livy Showalter, who's a great post player. I'm liking what I see him from Carter Shepard because they can put her in the high post. She's got the size to kind of be that mid-range forward, but she can shoot too. She hit a 3 in this game. She can definitely shoot from the perimeter. So I like what I see from West Branch. Offense isn't going to blow your minds. They're not going to be scoring 60, 70 points per game, but their defense is electric, and their offense definitely has the ability to go on runs that just demoralize a team with what defense they're playing. This game was tied at 17 at halftime, by the way. Second game in a row, West Branch had a close game at halftime that turned into a runaway. Say it again, Walt DeShields is a great halftime adjustment coach, and he proves it again. Jackson Milton, they get the win on home over Matthews. Fourth win of the season for the Blue Jays, who remember missed all of last year due to numbers. 59-28, Blue Jays get the win over Matthews. Big win for Jackson Milton. Brookfield gets the win over Valley Christian, 51-16. Final score there. Alliance gets the win over Youngstown East, 55-42. Beaver Area falls to Warren Harding, 51-34. And South Range Girls fall to Mohawk, 53-39. We go to boys' side on Saturday. And we start with Conneaut getting beat by Harvey, 90-57. Lakeside beats Madison, 59-50. Final score there. Crestwood was able to beat Grand Valley, 68-59. East Liverpool gets the best of Steubenville by 10, 69-59. The final score there. Beaver Area boys, they get the win over West Carrollton, 67-59. The final score in that one. Hoban falls to North Canton Hoover, 48-39. Struggle spot for Hoban. That is 3 straight losses for the Knights as they're trying to get through this tough stretch of their schedule. They lost to JFK on Tuesday, lost to Louisville on Friday, and then they lost to Canton Hoover on Saturday. So Hoban in a little bit of a tight spot right now as the reigning champs. They're trying to get back to winning their winning ways, and TK Griffith is going to be good at doing it. And I think he would be like, hey, we can take these losses. Everyone gets in. Let's learn from them. And he would trade these early season losses for starting at the right time. But right now, definite sign of adversity for Hoban. Not hitting the panic button, but at the same time, you gotta find a way to end the skid. Austintown Fitch wins a wild one on the road against Mayfield, 57-54. Final score there, Fitch on top. We have West Geauga beating Orange, 47-43, the final score there. East Palestine gets the best of Kingsway Christian, 71-32 on the boys' side. Big win for the Bulldogs, bounce back after falling on Friday. South Range is cooled off by Mohawk. Jay Rona with a huge game for the Warriors, 62-50. South Range falls to Edgewood, to Mohawk. Edgewood falls to Geneva in triple overtime. We saw the girls go into double overtime on Friday, and the boys say, well, we'll take your double overtime, and we'll give you triple overtime. So in Edgewood basketball over the weekend, since Friday, they have played a combined 13 quarters. Ooh, wild ones. One girls win over the weekend in double overtime, but the boys fall in triple overtime to Geneva, 70-66. The final score there. So things got wild over the weekend for sure. A lot of good basketball being played, and we are heading into the mid stretch. The January is when basketball really starts to heat up. So we're steaming towards January with these teams, especially on the boys' side. There's a lot of teams, coming off of a football season, start to get in shape. You start to find out, what mold they're fitting into, what identity they're going into. So I'll say this, we're heading towards January, and we're starting to get a really clear picture of what teams are going to be really, really good, what teams are hitting their stride, what teams are going to look like as we head towards January, especially on the boys' side. And like I said, I think that's when we're going to see the culmination of the players that are coming off of a football season get into basketball shape and hit their stride. And can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. We have 2 more weeks really of basketball until January hits, and some of it, it's like half weeks, right? Because you get off for New Year's and you get off for Christmas. So, we're sitting at the final hours of December, and we have a full week this week. Then obviously off Christmas and the day after Christmas next week, but then next Wednesday hit the ground running, and then you're off again for New Year's. You have that Monday off, and then I think that first Tuesday after New Year's is over. That's when you start to see the basketball get serious. Like, okay, this is when the league starts to take form over what games are really important. This is when the teams start to hit their stride. This is when you start to really find out who is who and what kind of basketball they're going to play. A lot of teams still figuring out. We went over that in that scoreboard. A lot of teams still trying to find their identity, especially on offense. Who's going to be their scorers? Both sides of basketball, girls and boys. January is when they find that out. Like, if you don't have that locked down by January, you're going to be in trouble. So we're going to find out really quick. I don't want to say preseason because obviously games are counting right now, but I always felt like December and the first couple weeks of November for basketball were kind of like the testing periods. And then January is when it's like hits the ground running. This is when it's serious. This is when we want to hit our stride. This is when we're, taking everything super seriously. So testing period's almost over for basketball, and the real season about to begin in January. Can't wait. We'll go over and we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have more Running Point on ysnlive.com, which is always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Back in a bit.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Your culinary adventure awaits at Legends Food and Drink. Experience a welcoming ambiance while you explore our appetizing menu featuring over 20 meals under $20 and over 30 lunches for $12 or less. Our private dining room seat between 10 and 20 at no additional cost. And don't forget our spacious 35-seat bar for your favorite sporting event. Book your special occasion in our elegant banquet room that seats up to 150 comfortably. Legends Food and Drink, a taste you'll remember. Market Street and Route 224 in Boardman.
And welcome back to Running Point, a Monday episode. Anthony Hartwig with you. We are so happy to have you aboard. Brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can find them if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. Let's pop into the scoreboard. Not the scoreboard, the brand new power rankings for basketball. We've been asking for them. You've been asking for them. We've been listening. They've been cooking for a couple of weeks. We've been giving the team some time to separate themselves a little bit. And first week of the power rankings is here. Let's pop them up on the girls' side first. We have Hoban at number 1 in the YSN power rankings. They are 8-0. They're off to a great start. They have wins over big teams. Waynedale in Division III, who is been to state several times in the last couple of years. Toledo Central Catholic just beat Fitch. This really good girls team right now going on. 2 is West Branch. 3 is Austintown Fitch. 4 is Howland. You have Edgewood at 5. Crestview at 6. Middle Ridge, undefeated, trying to go for an MVAC championship right now. They're at 7. You have Grand Valley at 8, Jefferson at 9, Mohawk at 10, Badger at 11, Poland at 12, Champion at 13, Boardman at 14, LeBray at 15, East at 16, Warren JFK at 17, Canfield at 18, Springfield at 19, McDonald at 20, United's 21, Columbian is 22, Ursuline 23, 24 is East Liverpool, and 25 is Southern Local. When I look at this list, once again, just like our power rankings have been for a while, this is numbers-based. This is not anyone's opinion. This is just put the math into the algorithm that we have made universal for every sport. Let the numbers pop them out. It takes into account your wins. It takes into account, obviously, how good those wins are, how many wins your opponents have. Things like that go into the algorithm. So, this is numbers-based. Numbers-based, and the numbers have spoken. When I'm looking at this list, I can agree and disagree with some of these things because, like I said, this is numbers-based. It's not opinion-based. So I think it's fair game to give some opinions on this list. Even though the numbers don't lie, they put them out. This is where the numbers put them. But at the same time, you're allowed to just say, hey, the numbers might be in this team's favor right now, but I think they're, maybe on paper they're a little bit better than where they are, or maybe you want to put someone down a little bit. But this is a great conversation starter, and we did it with numbers because we wanted to completely just say, hey, it's fair, it's not one-sided, there's no bias in it, it's just numbers. Here you go, put them out. And that's why we went to the math-based power rankings last we brought them out last fall season, really, last basketball season. We were using Martin RPI, but it wasn't our algorithm. It was just, taking Martin RPI and then gearing it towards our schools and not divisions. So we made that formula for baseball, softball, used it again for volleyball, and now here we are with rolling it out with basketball. So when I'm looking at this list, one of the things that I think a surprise of the season right now is Austintown Fitch. You didn't know what you were going to get coming in. Obviously, Zeta Creaky was a huge part of what they were doing. She graduated. The key is Ty to call her. So you didn't know what Austintown Fitch was really going to look like. And they have some big wins that have propelled them into this, the top four. I think Howland's a little bit of a surprise too. You look at Howland, and a lot of question marks with Howland. The 2 years ago got into regionals. Last year, kind of a mid-range season, but they didn't lose anybody. They're one of the only teams that brought back a lot of talent from a year ago. And Alyssa Masucci is just off to a great start, 20 points per game for her. Number 4 on the jersey, number 4 in the power rankings. They have other players that are scoring really well right now. Mia Barish and Gia Hosso are both playing really good basketball. You have Jesse DeSalvo chipping in points. So I think Howland is one of those teams that a lot of people, didn't know what to expect, but have a great start. And then the teams that you kind of knew were going to be up at the top tier. You knew West Branch coming in was going to be good this year. I don't think there were a lot of question marks about West Branch. You knew Hoban was going to be good. But Fitch and Howland are two of the teams that, like, if you told me who's going to be in the big pictures, the big picture top 4 teams, I don't know if preseason I would have put Fitch and Howland in there. But they've earned their way there. That's for sure. Howland, their only loss is to Hoban, and that was by 7 points in the Castle in Akron. Edgewood's off to a great start. That's kind of not surprising. No, you know what? I'm going to say surprising, and I don't want that to come down as a knock, but you lose Casey Kanicki, and a lot of people are still wondering, like, how are they going to score? Well, they're finding ways. I think Guyton has found a huge role. She's scoring really well. Obviously, you get a lot from McAllister, but Guyton is really that unsung hero this year that is coming up and really taking a big chunk of that offense as well. McKenna Vensel playing well. Faith Vensel, the freshman, liked what I saw from her live in the game against Grand Valley. So very excited to see Edgewood there. Crestview, no surprise there. They were going to be good. They were bringing back a lot of people. Addison Rhodes, Lorraine Gaskins. You knew what you were getting out of Crestview. They'll probably be higher at the list by the time the season's over, I imagine. I don't see a lot of people getting in their way. Middle Ridge being 12 spots ahead of Springfield was not something that was on my bingo card. But this Ridge team, man, have they lit the world on fire so far this season. And they were a team that was like in the 500 world last year. And they had a really good district tournament. They got all the way to the district semifinal. They almost got to the championship, came dang close to doing it. They lost, but they brought back almost everybody. They did lose a couple of seniors, Olivia Booth being the one that had the biggest impact that they lost. But they bring in like this Tiana Gilbert, who's a sophomore now, Ava Hewlett, Sullivan Sandy, Lily Murillo, Kelsey Dye. They're all scoring. There's so much offense on this Middle Ridge team right now, and they're scoring at a high clip, and it's really impressive to watch. Man, that's just solid. And I'm looking at this and just trying to find some other teams that kind of fit in. I think Boardman will definitely rise before the season's over. Boardman is a very good basketball team, and man, they're going to have their chances against Howland and Fitch twice. They haven't even started league play yet, so they're going to play Howland, they're going to play Fitch, and they're going to play Canfield twice before the season is over. They're just above Canfield, 3 spots above Canfield, but they're going to have chances to get big wins over Fitch and Howland. A lot of these power rankings, you got to be a little bit patient with some of these teams because it's still early. They still haven't had the chance to play every meaty team on their schedule. So Boardman's a team that I think 14, I think we all know, like, okay, 14 is what the numbers put them, but we all understand, like, Boardman's better than that, and they're going to prove it this season. LeBray is a team that I think is on the rise this year too. They're gonna have a lot of things to say. LeBray and Champion are both going to be the biggest obstacle to Crestview. Champion plays them next week. LeBray and Champion just played last Thursday, and it was a 3-point champion win. So I think that's going to be a strong contender. Really surprised the East, is able to have the season they're having, but Tanisha Franklin doing a really good job. JFK shooting the lights out right now. GD Ryan is having a great year for them. Springfield is the unfortunate benefactor of a couple of losses by one possession that have kind of been the difference of them being up higher and them being at 19. Losses are losses. You don't get extra points for losing really, really close. That's just the nature of sports, right? It's not about how close you got. At the end of the day, it's either a win or a loss. And they lost to Crestview, who's number 6 by 2. And they lost to Poland, who's number 12 by 1 in overtime. So, unfortunately for Springfield, they're just right now trying to dig out of that little hole that they made with those 2 losses power rankings wise. And I'll say this again. This has nothing to do with tournament. This has no bearings. This is just a conversation starter, really. It's for our YSN teams to get a light shined on them, their programs. Some of these teams probably don't get talked about enough, and now they're getting talked about because they're on the top 25 list. So we do our best. It's a conversation starter. It has no bearing on tournament seeding or anything, and that has anything to do with anything, really. It's just for fun conversation. That's all this power rankings is. United and Columbiana, right there. Columbiana already beat Southern. Southern beat United. Columbiana beat Poland over the weekend, by the way. So you got to think eventually they'll be on the rise too. Ursuline has been looking really good this year. I like this list. I think everyone on this list deserves it, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see how this shakes up. This is just week 1. We'll have plenty of power rankings before the season's over, all the way back in the mid-stretch of February for girls. So that is your girls' power rankings for the first week of the season. Let's pop into the boys, see what the boys look like this year. East Liverpool takes the 1 spot. They have traveled and they have been a part of a couple of events against strong teams, and East Liverpool looking really, really good right now as the 1 seed. You look at Ursuline, they're probably, arguably the most talented team in the YSN family right now. They're 2, and those 2 are going to be grappling for 1 and 2 for a long time, I think. South Range right there at 3, JFK at 4. Those are your top 4. Those are your big picture teams. I really like Ursuline, though. I'm high on Ursuline. And I'm high on East Liverpool. South Range keeps finding ways to win close games. Obviously, they lost to Mohawk over the weekend, which might have been the deciding factor in flipping them from 2 and 3. I don't know exactly how that would have mathed out with the loss there, but 4 is JFK. Then you go to the rest of the list. 5 is Lisbon. Fitch is sitting at 6. Pymatuning Valley at 7. Boardman at 8. West Branch at 9. East is at 10. Badger at 11. Mohawk at 12. Hubbard at 13. LeBray at 14. Poland at 15. Columbiana 16. Beaver Local 17. Lakeview 18. Howland is at 19. Cardinal Mooney sitting at Cam Memorial sitting at 20. Cardinal Mooney at 21. Canfield at 22. You have Heartland Christian at 23. Edgewood at 24. And then Springfield rounds out the rankings at 25. So just like the girls, I'm going to go through and say, some of the surprises, some of the, you expect them to be that where they are. I think the biggest surprise in the top 10 right now for me is seeing Lisbon at 5. I think, everyone knew what Lisbon had, but last year, Lisbon had the unfortunate trouble of getting their own way sometimes. And this year so far, they've been tested, they've been pushed, they've been in close games, they've had to rely on their defense. And I think those are games that Lisbon would have lost last year, to be quite honest with you. But they're showing a lot of maturity as a team that returned to most everybody. They have, the Daly brothers are doing really well. Obviously, Trevor Sifke doing exactly what he's supposed to do. But I really like some of the wins they've gotten in the last week where they've had to rely on their defense to get the wins. They haven't had the the offensive firepower necessarily in those couple games. I'm talking about the Columbiana game and the game after that. They scored under 60, which isn't something Lisbon's too used to because they're such an offensively charged team. But they were able to absorb that and take it and win defensive battles, which I was really impressed with. So Lisbon, I think, pleasant surprise being in the top 5. I think East was a team that we really didn't know what we were going to get from, and they obviously had their jaw punched a little bit by Ursuline on Friday, but still a very good basketball team, sitting at number 10. Glad to see the Bears represented. The other top 10 teams, I think we knew what we were getting from Pymatuning Valley, size, talent. We knew what we were getting from West Branch, so those two aren't surprises at all. Fitch has been able to win a couple of close games to put them on the teetering point there. Mohawk just got a big win over South Range, so that's number 12 beating number 3 over the weekend, so that could shake out things. I'm surprised that we're seeing LeBray up there. Campbell, couple of losses early, 20. I think they're going to be higher by the end of the season. But the team right below them is the team that I think will definitely be moving up the ranks as the season goes on. That's Cardinal Mooney. I have a lot of faith in what Mooney is putting together. Same thing with Canfield. I mean, you look at Canfield just beat Mooney, but Mooney still having a little bit of an edge there with just 1.1 spot separating them. 4-point win for Canfield, so you can't say decisively they were the better team. That was a basketball game that could have gone either way. Canfield made the plays down the stretch. If they play 10 times, they might split 5 out of 5. So I kind of like how the rankings put them right next to each other there because they were so evenly matched in Friday night's game. And then you round it out with Edgewood and Springfield. I think that's a solid list right there. I mean, you can't say much more about it. Like I said, I think Ursuline's going to be in this mix throughout the whole year. I'd be very shocked if they drop below 4 at any time this season. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if they grab the 1 spot at some point either. I think the biggest team that can make the biggest noise in the top 10 that's not in the top 4, and that's a lot of the questions that people are asking every week. And I'm going to give that edge to West Branch. I think West Branch is the top 10 team that I can see have the biggest chance to get into the top 4 by the end of the season. So that's your boys rankings. We've talked about the girls. We talked about the boys. We'll feature this every Monday as we pop in new power rankings on Mondays. Want to thank our team for putting that together in the behind the scenes fashion. And what a great first week of power rankings. And if you watch volleyball power rankings at all, that will change. Because if you look at week 1 of power rankings for volleyball compared to the final one, it changed a lot. That's the beauty of power rankings. Every team every week has the opportunity to build up or go down. And if you weren't happy with where your team ended up in week 1, it's just week 1. There's a lot of power rankings and a lot of games to be played. And, maybe next week you'll have a better spot. Who knows? We're going to go back into the scoreboard, preview tonight's action, see what's going on tonight in basketball. You know the drill. Mondays are when the girls shine, and it's their day to be on the spotlight. Mondays are for girls. We have a big one in the EOAC tonight. United going to Columbiana. Edison will face, New Commercetown. That's a mouthful. In Edison, South Range hosting Lakeview. You have Indian Creek going to Beaver Local. McDonald going to Western Reserve. Newton Falls traveling to Crestview. Poland will go to Niles. That's a sneaky Niles team that has played some really good basketball this year. So don't sleep on this matchup. I know this has been in the past one that you just kind of Poland Niles. It's just you go right by it. But Niles actually played a couple of really good teams really close. So they put Champion to the brink. They have a post player. Name is escaping me because it's one of the players that just kind of came out of nowhere this year, but moves really well. Watch that Champion game moves really well in the paint, and you don't see that a lot from a girls post player. Sometimes post players get really static, and I really like the way that she's athletic in the box, so she's able to make a lot of post moves down there, get open, get some opportunities, and that'll be one of the things that Poland has to deal with tonight. LeBray goes to Brookfield inside the MVAC. Springfield travels to Sebring. Wyndham welcomes in Matthews. You have Middle Ridge going to Lowville. Valley Christian will go to Latonia. Camel hosting Champion. East Palestine going to Wellsville. Excuse me there. You have Warren JFK. They are traveling to Canton Central Catholic. Struthers going to Hubbard tonight. You have Lisbon going to Southern Local. Big storyline here. Ashley Schroeds, 4 points away from breaking the program's all-time leading scoring title that has been there since 1981. So, keep your eye out for that. Youngstown East, they are traveling to Maple Heights, and East Liverpool will go and host Oakland tonight. So that is your scoreboard. We are going to go over the announcers, what games will be on the network, and who will be on the call before we get you out of here for today's episode of Running Point. So here is what today's broadcast schedule looks like. We have Chris Sigler going to United. We have Steve Hodge, and he'll be at Hubbard. Just recently, we just heard that Liberty and Garrettsville Garfield has been canceled. So if you're looking for that game, it is no longer happening tonight. Sam Ballas and Jake Nicholas will be traveling with Lakeview like they always do. So they'll be at South Range for that one. You have Ty Bartell going to Western Reserve for a battle between the Blue Devils. You have myself going to Crestview as they face off with Newton Falls. You have Ian O'Brien going to be in Niles for Poland and Niles. Matt Porter will be in Brookfield for LeBray and Brookfield. Larry Scragg going to Southern. So when Ashley Schroed scores her 4th point, that moment will be on YSN. Proud to have another record-breaking achievement broadcasted on the network. Wyndham YouTube page will have their game. Eric Hughes is going to go to Lowville for Middle Ridge and Lowville. And then you'll have a video-only broadcast from Wellsville for East Palestine and Wellsville. So those games will be on the network tonight. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find them. Make sure to tune in. Have a great Monday, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow to recap all of that and more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet